Forged through a combination of air and fire, sand transforms into glass, a medium that is at once durable and fragile. Through this alchemical process, glass has been used across time in the production of functional items, transforming the material into the backdrop of our daily lives. But what happens to glass when it is considered beyond its use value? French Art Nouveau artist Émile Gallé and contemporary Kakatha and Nukunu artist Yanni Scarce each explore glass's material state of tension through their work. Each artist combines glass's delicate aura with imagery of nature to communicate feelings of human anxiety. Paying tribute to nature through glass, both artists respond to concerns for the changing environments of their respective moments in time. Art Nouveau was a movement that emerged in 1890, a time marked by social anxiety surrounding the turn of the 20th century. In response, artisans and craftsmen employed nature as a symbol in their designs for the beauty of change. Gallé was one such artist, with his artistic inspiration drawing from an emerging discourse that saw the subconscious reflected in the organic. Gallé saw the veins of leaves and flowers as symbols of the human nexus of nerves, incorporating these themes in such works as Vase with Magnolias. At face value, the vase is an opaque, dark brown vessel, as the figures of branches and flowers are only suggested by ridges on the vase's surface. But once light is placed behind the vase, the details of blooming florals are revealed. Magnolias eerily blossom from an imaginary space within the vessel, illustrating Gallé's perceptions of the mind as an intangible, changing realm. The application of light to this work simulates botanical growth, imitating nature's process of both being and becoming, that is the state of what nature is at one moment, and its simultaneous growth across time. Gallé's use here of glass's ability to transform through light brings the vase to life, engaging the viewer with the object and its visual narrative. It suggests to the viewer that they too possess a changing realm beneath their skin's surface. Yanni Scarce similarly provokes her viewers to contemplate the body through interactions between light and glass. Scarce responds to ongoing calls for Indigenous rights, employing glass as a lens that focuses in on historic injustices executed against Indigenous Australians. One such engagement is this work, Missile Park. Missile Park reconstructs the hidden events of the 1956 nuclear testing performed in Maralinga, South Australia. In this work, 3 tomb-like sheds reference the temporary shelters established by the Australian military. They testify to Aboriginal land stolen for the bomb's detonation, without regard for the surrounding Indigenous communities. But Scarce states that the truth is in those sheds. It is waiting to be unearthed. And led to learn this truth, the viewer enters one of the sheds. With the door shut behind them, the space is dark, as the eye's only light sources are faint rays of light that bleed through pinhole perforations in the zinc sheets. This dark environment gradually reveals a set of black glass bush plums. The plums stand as representations of the Indigenous lives lost to radiation poisoning, their land and community affected by the event to this day. This employment of light is not dissimilar to Gallé's vase, with light and imagery of nature in Missile Park instigating a somber reflection on death and vulnerable bodies. Like Scarce, Gallé contemplates what mortality means to those who live. The vulnerable qualities of glass allowed Gallé to visually explore the mysteries of death. His queries into this phenomenon coalesced into La main aux algues et au coquillage. The work depicts a hand adorned with seashells and threaded with seaweed, as wisps of sea foam cling to the polished skin. Gallé perceived imagery of the oceanic realm as an instrument for exploring the mysteries of life and death, but there is an apparent desperation in his attempts to understand mortality in this work, evidenced by the fact it was created the same year he discovered his health was seriously declining. Like Scarce in Missile Park, Gallé embodies the human in this precious material as a memorial to a life. As the hand tenderly reaches for a saviour, glass becomes indicative of the body's own fragility, a motif harnessed by Scarce in her piece, Thunder Raining Poison. The work consists of almost 2,000 glass bush yams, which, like Missile Park, represent the Maralinga Jaratja people. The yams coalesce into a depiction of the mushroom cloud that was released over Maralinga. The sand beneath the bomb's point of contact was molten into green glass, and by employing glass in this work, Scarce closely links this piece to the stories of those murdered by this event. The suspension of the glass yams in midair further consumes the piece with an ephemeral energy. That state of tension we know glass to exist in, between fragmentation and solidity, is employed here by Scarce to draw viewers in. In a poetic response to this piece, young Kunijara poet Ali Kobi Eckermann wrote, "It sounds like glass, our hearts breaking. But we are stronger than that. We always rise us mob." Eckermann's response reveals to us that while Thunder Raining Poison meditates on the vulnerability of human bodies, it simultaneously displays the durability of a culture. Glass is a medium that allows for such evocative works, ones that embody the natural in the human, through its material properties, but also the breath that gives form to these pieces. Consequently, the works of Gale and Scarce effectively become extensions of their body. These extensions narrate their respective life stories, ones of anxiety and distress, but they also search for hope. Gale's use of nature reminds us of the possibility we possess to change whilst we have the time, as his reflections on death remind us of our fleeting life. This narrative is reflected in the work of Scarce, as her poignant use of bush tucker testifies to Indigenous land decimated by genocidal acts and its humanitarian impacts. Ultimately, the glass pieces of both Gale and Scarce ask us, the viewer, to contemplate the histories of ourselves and those around us, to reflect on the ability we hold to cause change and the fragility of life.